Good morning, everyone. Welcome back, and welcome to my newest project. Funny turn of events. My buddy called me on my cell phone a couple days ago. He said, "You know what? You won't believe it, but my old neighbor, has a three-wheeler in their garage." I guess they crossed paths at a 4th of July party. So anyway, he puts me on the phone, and he's like, "Yeah, I got this old Yamaha in my garage." I asked him, "Are you willing to sell it?" He said, "Yeah, no problem." So we got in contact with each other and set it up. I met up, we paid him, I brought it home. This is a 1985 and a half Yamaha Tri-Z 250. When they came out in 85, they were yellow and black, and then halfway through the year, they changed the color scheme to these, and then they changed them to white and red in 86. This is my first Yamaha that I've ever owned. I've never owned a Yamaha in my life, but I couldn't say no for the price that I paid for this. So I figured I'd take it on and see what I can do with it, see how far I can get. This, believe it or not, this is after power washing it. It is absolutely filthy. It hasn't been started in probably 15 years. And I don't think it's ever been washed since it's been new. There's all the dirt. Let's get a little close up here. All of that dirt, with the exception of this little rub here, all of this dirt here, all of this is all grease. You can see that, that's all grease. So I need some heavy degreasing to go on this bike. But I think that after the degreasing, look at that, it's disgusting. After the degreasing, this will clean up very nicely. I keep finding better places to show you guys. This is going to clean up very, very nicely. Rear tires are roached. Actually, for whatever it's worth, the front tires are roached too. So I'm going to have to look for tires for this. That's assuming I can get it started. But according to him, he put a little bit of ether into the whatever this induction line is. This thing, which goes right into the cylinder, and he said he's able to get it started. I believe him, because it does have compression. Actually, it has really good compression. Motor looks good, no case damage. I have a feeling that this will be surprisingly clean. Put a fresh coat of paint on some of these parts, sandblast the exhaust, but if I can get it started, if it's got spark, I won't be doing much with it. Like I said, hasn't been started in a long time. Mouse nest in the airbox. But it's really, really cool, and it's actually all there. None of the plastics are cracked. They are kind of deformed from, you have this resting against the jet ski from the side, so it kind of pushed this down. But I think with a good clean, a good scrub, some sunlight or heat, and maybe build it up from the bottom, and they'll be able to kind of be massaged back. We'll see what happens. But I'm pretty optimistic with this thing. I'll pick up a seat cover off of eBay. Found that. Got a new air filter coming. These are, I don't know who the hell makes these things, but they are actually pretty comfortable, but I'll probably swap them out for something nicer. It's got a cool headlight guard on it. Haven't seen that. I don't know if it's homebrew. No, it can't be homebrew, because it's actually made very well. So I think this is a Yamaha aftermarket part. Probably same as this. Maybe remove some of these silly stickers. Turbo Yamaha. Not really. No thanks. Let's see. Let's take a look in the back here. I don't know if this was a thing to do. I've never seen it done before. Fork boots on an axle. I'll pass on that too. I'll probably pull those off. What else can I show you? That's about it, really. It's overall, it just, before I attempt anything on this thing, it's got to be cleaned. It is disgusting. Let's pop the seat and see what's going on. I actually have the toolkit in my garage. I removed it earlier. Yeah, this whole concept of the seat, or the gas tank under the seat, is new to me. So if you guys don't know or aren't familiar with these, just like I am, and I'm learning about them slowly, this is a fuel pump because the gas tank level is lower than the carb, so it's obviously got to get pumped up to the carb. So this is a new concept for me. This will be a tremendous learning process, and I'm assuming a fairly steep learning curve, but I'm down for the challenge. It's all good. Anyway, the next time I check back with you guys, I will I'll probably have cleaned this very well. Maybe I'll employ my oldest daughter. Maybe she'll help me out. But anyway, welcome to the newest project, 1985 and a half Yamaha Tri-Z 250. Let's get it done. All right, everyone, here's the current state of the bike. Tore basically everything off and cleaned I've never seen a bike this dirty, let's put it that way. And it was an astonishing amount of grease and dirt and disgust that built up probably over 30 years. It looked like this guy never washed it before. But anyway, as you can see, the motor's actually really clean. No case damage. Looks really good. There's a little wear on the swing arm, but that's to be expected. There's always rocks getting kicked up under there. The carb I pulled off because, as you may or may not know, the airbox sits up here. It's got a tube that goes down to the carb. This airbox and the tube and the beginning of the carb were filled with basically a mouse house. It looks like a mouse or mice moved into the airbox at some point over the last 15 or 20 years and decided to make that their home. So I decided to clean all of that out. Tore apart, while I had the carb off, I tore that apart. I cleaned it up, the carb in the ultrasonic cleaner. It is spotless inside, beautiful. I cleaned the reeds, cleaned this area out, your intake port. What else can I cover here? These plastics were a little bit droopy. So over the last couple of days, I've been kind of putting them in the sun and just kind of weighing them down a little bit, see if they could open up and blossom just from the weight of the straps or whatever I placed in there. What else? That's all I can tell you right now. The exhaust I pulled off, it's extremely rusted, so I'll be painting that in high temp paint. The bearing carrier actually seems good. I didn't see much wobble in there. Brakes, I think I have to rebuild, or they may be just, the pistons may be just seized, so I'm gonna see if I can get that going somehow. But anyway, there she is. Next update I'll probably have once I have the airbox installed, everything hooked up, reeds hooked up. I'll have the new air filter in there, and I'll be ready to start checking the motor and make sure I have spark, and hopefully we can get this baby started. All right, I'll see you then. Check it out. All right, everyone, welcome back. I jumped a few steps, but here's what I did. I started putting everything back together. I took the exhaust, I cleaned it up, I sanded it, I painted it with a nice couple coats of high temp paint, which looks fabulous. And then, what did I do next? Oh, yeah, I think next I jumped to the motor and the operation. So what I did was I checked for spark, and I had spark. The spark plug was completely shot, so I replaced the spark plug, and then I gave it a go. Put some fresh gas in it, and nothing. Didn't start. So what I did next was I noticed that this energy induction tube goes right down into the intake section, right to the reeds. So I put a little fuel in here, and then I kicked it a few times, and she actually started. And she ran for as long as the fuel that I added in here lasted. So that was a good sign. Then I started to poke around, and the only other culprit
was this, which is a fuel pump. This is an aftermarket Mikuni fuel pump. The stock unit is supposed to be round, but apparently they're expensive and hard to come by, so probably why, it's probably why whoever had this before me replaced it with a more cost-effective version. So anyway, I took this apart. There's a tube here coming from the gas tank, tube here going to the carb, and a tube on the back, which is this tube, which goes to the cylinder head, which I'm assuming produces the vacuum, which actually pumps the fuel from the gas tank into the carb. So I pulled this apart, and inside were 2 gaskets and a piece of plastic film in between. It looked pretty dirty, so I cleaned off the gaskets very gently, and I sent the aluminum body through the ultrasonic cleaner. I polished the insides of the aluminum body with some emery cloth, and then I reassembled. And then I kicked it a few times, and she started right up. So that is a beautiful thing. She runs really well. Actually, let's give her a start now. Turn on some fuel. This is going to be tricky with the phone in my hand, but bear with me. There you go. First kick. Runs killer. Rev it up a bit. It's amazing how wonderfully simple and crude these old two-strokes are, to the point that they just want to run. They do not want to fail. These things want to run and run forever. And that's, in my opinion, that's the beauty of a two-stroke, and it gets a little bit more complicated with a four-stroke with the valves and cam chain and cam and all that stuff. That's why I prefer these two-strokes. Anyway, let's shut her down. Oh, by the way, the lights do work. So I'm totally expecting the headlight to work as well. My next order of business is, oh, and I actually ran it through the gears, which is awesome, and totally insane because there are no brakes currently. So my next order of business is to take off the front calipers, which are probably seized or need to be bled, and same thing with the rear caliper. It's either seized and needs to be bled. So I'm going to handle that next, and hopefully that'll put us into a fully operational mode where we can actually take this and rip it for a little bit. And after that, it's going to be time to button her up. And I need to source some tires. I had some tires in my garage, but it turns out that they are for 9-inch rims, and these are 8-inch rims. So I'm going to have to source some tires for some 8-inch rims from somewhere. I'm going to start looking around. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the update, and I will check back with all of you once she is all together and I've completed the next steps. All right, moving on to our next update. My next order of business was going to be these brakes. The brakes, the calipers would not move at all, so I suspected that they were seized front and back. So I took the calipers off. I took a large C-clamp, put it around here, pressed the piston back inside, and then furiously bled the brakes, and it actually worked. Both brakes work perfectly, which was a relief because I was hoping I wouldn't have to rebuild the master cylinders and stuff. I wasn't sure what the state of them was, but apparently they are completely functional. The brake fluid was disgusting inside, so I flushed a bunch of that through. And here I've got the gas tank protector thingy, the headlight guard, and then the additional headlight guard. Painted them satin black, give them a little bit of a freshening up. I'm sure they'll look great. And that is that. I think I might get some grips for this thing. These are a little bit tired, kind of vintage, which is kind of cool, but they're a little bit tired. And that's about it. I think once I've got all of the hardware and stuff that I've been painting back on the bike, she's pretty much going to be done. And I think I'm gonna wait to make a decision on what I'm gonna do. But she's definitely gonna need some new tires. I don't have tires that'll fit this bike, so I would have to purchase them. But yeah, she runs absolutely incredibly great. Wheelies, kicks the ass out. Just really, really great. Exactly what I was expecting from a 250 two-stroke trike. So it's what a relief. I wasn't sure what I was going to get when I was purchasing this bike. You know, you're kind of buying a cat in a bag, but it ended up working out. Having said that, I definitely invested probably between 7 and 8 hours of work, and that would be pretty hard work, to be quite honest. The hardest parts were probably the initial cleaning of the bike, which was absolutely insane. That was super labor intensive. But anyway, that's where we're at. I'll check back with you once the paint's dry on the hardware, and that'll be probably the final update. See you then. Alrighty, here is the final portion of this video. I've got all of the hardware or guards or whatever back on the bike. Satin black, very nice, came out beautiful. Exhaust looks great. I think I updated you on that earlier. I've got the exhaust guard, excuse me, the gas tank guard back on, came out great. I ended up replacing these two swing arm or the carrier adjusters because it was actually missing one, and so I just bought two matching ones to replace them. They look great, and I think that pretty much covers everything. So this is where we're at. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put this up for sale soon. I think I've got my eyes on something I like a little bit more than this, although this is a lot of fun. It rips. It's so fast. And it starts on a dime, first kick, cold, hot, whatever. A really great bike, so I'm sure someone will enjoy it. I'm just a Honda man. I always will be a Honda man, so that's kind of where I stand. So anyway, thank you for joining me on the journey on the revival of this 1985 and a half Yamaha Tri-Z YTZ250. It's been fun. Ride safe and take care.